Welcome to our deep dive. It's all about unlocking creativity this time around. We've got complete concepts, a guide focused on just that. Oh, and some interesting excerpts on internet social networking etiquette, too. Now, I gotta say, finding a legal disclaimer in a creativity guide, it was a little unexpected. Apparently, no guarantees will become the next Picasso.
It's true. Always wise to manage those expectations. But exploring these techniques, who wouldn't want to unlock a little more creative potential?
Exactly. So let's dive right in. What are some of the practical tips, maybe some unexpected ones, that Complete Concepts offers?
Well, the guide starts by tackling. That big misconception that creativity is this inborn talent that only some lucky few have. But Complete Concepts really pushes back on that. It argues that everyone has that capacity for fresh ideas. We're constantly generating them, right? The real skill is learning to recognize those ideas and then actually harnessing that potential.
So it's less about being a creative type and more about honing a skill we all have. That's encouraging. But how do we even start? How do we start to recognize these hidden creative gems?
That's a great question. And Complete Concepts introduces this fascinating idea. Two different types of imagination, originative and synthetic.
Two types.
Yeah, originative imagination. That's the lightning strike, like a truly new idea, like inventing a whole new art form.
Wow.
But then you have synthetic imagination, and that one's all about refining, reworking existing ideas. Think of a musician. They're creating a new song, but it's still in an established genre.
Okay, I see. So they're both crucial. Originative imagination gives us those raw materials.
Exactly.
Then synthetic imagination, it gives us the tools to actually mold them into something new.
That's a great way to put it. Think about designing a poster for a community event. That first spark, the overall theme, or that visual, that's originative imagination at work. But then you choose fonts, colors, layout. That's when synthetic imagination really comes into play.
That makes a lot of sense. But Complete Concepts doesn't stop there, right? It offers some concrete, tangible techniques to boost our creativity.
Absolutely. One technique that really stood out to me is the 30 Solutions Challenge.
30 solutions.
Yes. So let's say you're stuck. How to promote that community event. Instead of just going with the first few obvious answers, right? This challenge, it pushes you to brainstorm 30 completely different solutions, no matter how outlandish they might seem.
30 solutions? Wow. So pushing for that many solutions, you think that leads to more innovative ideas?
Absolutely. You're bound to go beyond those usual, comfortable solutions. And you might discover something truly groundbreaking. And here's a surprising thing. Research suggests that solo brainstorming can actually be more effective than group sessions.
Really? I always thought brainstorming was best done in a group.
Well, in a group setting, sometimes we can get influenced by others' ideas. Or we might worry about being judged, which can sometimes stifle our own creative flow.
That makes sense.
Solo brainstorming, it gives you the freedom to explore those wilder, less conventional ideas without any external pressure.
So maybe group brainstorming is good for refining ideas, getting that feedback.
Right.
But solo brainstorming can help us come up with those initial sparks.
Exactly. It's about understanding the strengths of each approach, right, and using them strategically. Another tip from Complete Concepts, seek inspiration. An art form's different from what you're working on.
Different.
Like hit a writer's block, go to a sculpture exhibit, struggling with a musical composition, take in a dance performance.
It's like cross-training for your brain. I like that. I can see how exposure to different art forms could really help shake things up, generate some new ideas. Speaking of shaking things up, Complete Concepts also has some pretty unconventional idea-sparking techniques I was really intrigued by. The concept of disputing conjectures. What does that involve?
So it's all about challenging assumptions.
Yeah.
Challenging assumptions, that might be limiting your thinking. For example, let's say you're working on a project, but you're feeling stuck because you assume you don't have, a certain resource, or you don't have a certain skill. So instead of just accepting that assumption as fact, you actively dispute it.
You dispute it.
Yeah. Could you collaborate with someone? Could you learn that skill? Could you find a workaround? Challenging those assumptions can really open up possibilities you might have completely overlooked.
So it's turning limitations into opportunities by questioning the assumptions that create those limitations in the first place.
Precisely. And then there's imagining in reverse, another really thought-provoking technique. And here, you imagine how to make a situation worse, to gain insights into creative solutions.
That sounds like really tough. But I can see how flipping the script, focusing on the negative, could reveal some unexpected solutions, like looking at a problem in a funhouse mirror. You see this distorted version. But that distortion, it highlights stuff you wouldn't normally see.
Yeah, it's all about disrupting those habitual ways of thinking, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it forces your brain to consider new perspectives. And speaking of disrupting habits, Complete Concepts also encourages embracing technology as a tool for creativity. Think online idea generators, random word prompts, even just browsing different visual platforms for inspiration.
It's amazing how a few random words or images can lead to all these new ideas. But there's a balance, right? We don't want to be completely reliant on technology for inspiration.
Absolutely. Absolutely. While these tools can be fantastic springboards, they shouldn't replace our own knowledge and critical thinking. It's like using a recipe. The ingredients and instructions can guide you, but it's your own skill and intuition that ultimately determines how the dish turns out.
That's a great analogy. And speaking of navigating the online world, our excerpts on internet social networking etiquette offer some really relevant advice. They emphasize being mindful of our online reputation and recognizing that what we post online can be hard to erase.
Yeah, that's important. This ties into the responsibility that comes with any kind of creative output, right? Whether it's online or in the real world, our creations have an impact. And it's crucial to consider that impact carefully.
It's not just about generating ideas. It's about creating responsibly, thoughtfully. And on that note, I'm curious about another concept from Complete Concepts, the both-and mindset. What does that mean? How does it relate to creativity?
The both-and mindset. It's about rejecting those limitations and embracing abundance. Instead of getting trapped in an either-or mentality, it encourages us to ask, how can we do both? And this seemingly simple shift can unlock incredible possibilities.
So how does this work? Can you give an example how this mindset might play out in a creative context?
Sure. Imagine you're passionate about two different creative projects, but you only feel like you have time for one. Instead of forcing that choice, the both-and mindset says, how can I find time for both?
Oh, I see.
This question forces you to get creative with your time management, explore collaboration opportunities, or even find ways to integrate the projects. It might seem impossible at first, but simply asking that question, it opens up new avenues for exploration.
It's like you're challenging yourself to find a solution that incorporates both things, rather than just choosing one. That's a powerful example. I've definitely been stuck in that either trap. Now I'm thinking, where else in my creative work could this mindset help me break through limitations? Complete Concepts also emphasizes taking breaks, right? Especially those involving physical activity, to spark creative insights.
Yeah, it might seem counterintuitive, but sometimes the best way to fuel our creativity is to step away from the problem altogether. Our subconscious minds are always working, even when we're not consciously focused on a challenge. So engaging in physical activity, a walk, a run, even just some stretching can clear our heads and allow those subconscious insights to surface.
It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter, I guess. Giving our minds the space. They need to do their best work. It's like that saying, sleep on it. Sometimes the best solutions come when we've let our minds wander and process information subconsciously.
Exactly. And speaking of creating space for creativity, Complete Concepts talks about a creative sanctuary.
A creative sanctuary?
Yeah, a dedicated space designed to foster your creative flow. It could be a corner in your home, a favorite spot in nature, even a virtual space online.
I love that idea. Having a dedicated space, whether it's physical or virtual, could help signal to our brains, okay, time to get into creative mode, like a mental trigger that helps us access that flow state.
Exactly. And speaking of flow state, Complete Concepts has some fascinating insights about how to cultivate that magical feeling of being completely absorbed in a task.
You mean that feeling where time just melts away, ideas are flowing effortlessly? I've definitely experienced those moments. It's an amazing feeling.
It is. And the book emphasizes the importance of setting clear goals, finding that sweet spot between challenge and skill and minimizing those distractions to create the optimal conditions for flow. It's like preparing the soil for a garden. You need that right balance of nutrients, sunlight, and water for your plants to thrive.
It's not just waiting for inspiration to strike, it's actively creating an environment and a mindset that's conducive to creativity.
Precisely. And part of that involves being open to inspiration from unexpected sources. Complete Concepts encourages us to venture outside our comfort zones, explore different cultures, engage with diverse perspectives.
It's like cross-pollinating your mind. Sometimes the most groundbreaking ideas come from connecting seemingly disparate concepts or experiences.
Exactly. And that often involves embracing risk, welcoming failure as a valuable learning opportunity.
One of the key takeaways from complete concepts is that creativity is not about perfection. It's about exploration and discovery. It's about embracing the messiness of the creative process and allowing ourselves to make mistakes along the way.
Right. And those mistakes can often lead to unexpected breakthroughs or valuable insights that we wouldn't have gained otherwise. It's all part of the creative journey.
And speaking of journeys, complete concepts emphasizes that creativity is an ongoing process, not a destination. It's about continually learning, growing, evolving as creative individuals.
It's like a muscle. It needs to be exercised, challenged, to grow stronger. The more we engage in creative activities, the more we strengthen those creative abilities.
It's not about achieving some end state of being creative. It's about embracing the journey of lifelong creative exploration. And complete concepts encourages us to find ways to incorporate creative activities into our daily lives, even in small ways.
Yeah, it could be something as simple as trying a new recipe, taking a different route to work, or expressing yourself through journaling or doodling. The key is to find those little sparks of creativity throughout your day and fan them into flames.
And those small acts of creativity can have a ripple effect. It's like the butterfly effect, you know? A seemingly insignificant action can lead to unexpected and transformative outcomes. Speaking of transformative outcomes, our deep dive into complete concepts wouldn't be complete without talking about
the positive impact of creativity on our well-being.
Absolutely. Research has shown engaging in creative activities can reduce stress, improve mood, even boost cognitive function. It's like a superpower for our minds and bodies. It makes sense when you think about it. Creativity allows us to tap into our emotions, express ourselves authentically, connect with something larger than ourselves.
Exactly. And it's not just about individual well-being either. Creativity is a powerful force for positive social change. It fuels innovation, drives progress, inspires social movements. Think about all the groundbreaking inventions, artistic masterpieces, transformative social movements. That wouldn't exist without creative thinking.
It's a powerful reminder that nurturing creativity in ourselves and others can have a ripple effect that extends far beyond our individual lives. And speaking of nurturing creativity, Complete Concepts offers some great advice for overcoming those dreaded creative blocks.
It does. It suggests a variety of strategies, from changing our environment, seeking inspiration from others, to simply giving ourselves permission to step away and take a break.
Sometimes a mental break is exactly what we need to clear our heads, approach the problem with a fresh perspective.
Absolutely. And speaking of perspective, Complete Concepts highlights the importance of cultivating a growth mindset when it comes to creativity.
A growth mindset. What does that mean?
So it's about embracing challenges, seeing failure as an opportunity for growth, believing that our creative abilities can be developed and expanded with effort and practice.
So it's less about innate talent and more about believing in our ability to learn and grow as creative individuals.
Exactly. And this mindset is crucial for overcoming self-doubt, pushing past those perceived limitations, and achieving our creative potential. Complete Concepts also talks about the importance of discovering our unique creative voice, that special something that sets our work apart.
It's about embracing our individuality,
Right.
experimenting with different styles and techniques, not being afraid to express ourselves authentically.
Precisely. And it's not about comparing ourselves to others or striving to be like someone else. It's about celebrating our own unique creative journeys.
Right.
Speaking of journeys, Complete Concepts offers a thought-provoking perspective on the cyclical nature
Of creativity. Cyclical. Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. It highlights the ebb and flow of creative energy, those periods of intense inspiration, followed by moments of quiet reflection, or even creative blocks. It's all part of the natural rhythm of the creative process.
So it's not about being creatively on all the time. It's about recognizing, honoring those different phases of the creative cycle.
And understanding that those downtimes are often essential for incubation, allowing our minds to process information and generate new ideas subconsciously. It's all part of the creative dance. Complete Concepts encourages us to approach creativity with a sense of playfulness and experimentation.
It's about letting go of that need for perfection, embracing the joy of exploration.
Like a child playing with building blocks, you know, exploring different possibilities, having fun in the process. And that sense of playfulness, it's contagious. When we approach creativity with joy and enthusiasm, it inspires others to do the same.
It's like we're modeling that behavior for others. It reminds me of how important it is to find joy in the creative process, rather than letting it become a source of stress or pressure. Speaking of support, Complete Concepts reminds us that creativity thrives in community.
Oh, absolutely. Whether it's joining a writing group, attending workshops, or connecting with fellow creatives online, those shared experiences, they can spark new ideas, provide valuable feedback,
Yeah.
and keep those creative fires burning bright.
And speaking of burn bright, Complete Concepts concludes with a powerful message. You are so creative, don't deny it. It's a reminder that we all have the potential to unlock our creative genius and make a positive impact on the world.
It's a journey worth embarking on, a journey of self-discovery, growth, and endless possibilities.
I couldn't agree more. This deep dive into Complete Concepts has been really enriching. But now it's up to us to take these insights and apply them to our own creative endeavors.
I'm already feeling inspired to try some of these techniques.
Me too. I can't wait to see what creative breakthroughs await us. Speaking of breakthroughs, our exploration of Complete Concepts wouldn't be complete without acknowledging the importance of perseverance.
True. Creativity is not always easy. There will be challenges, setbacks, moments of self-doubt. But it's in those moments that perseverance becomes our greatest asset.
It's about staying committed to our creative goals, even when the going gets tough.
And celebrating those small wins along the way. They fuel our motivation, keep us moving forward. Complete Concepts encourages us to share our creative work with the world, not for validation or praise, but for the pure joy of expression and the potential to inspire others.
Yeah, whether it's writing a blog post, sharing a piece of art online, or even just having a conversation about our creative passions. Sharing our work can connect us with others, spark new collaborations, and make the world a more vibrant and creative place.
Absolutely. And speaking of a vibrant and creative, our deep dive into Complete Concepts wouldn't be complete without acknowledging the importance of finding joy in the creative process.
Absolutely. Creativity should be a source of joy, fulfillment, personal growth, not a source of stress or pressure. It's about embracing the journey, finding those moments of delight along the way.
And those moments of delight
Yeah.
often come from the unexpected discoveries, those serendipitous connections, the pure joy of creating something new.
It's like magic, and it's a magic that's available to all of us. Speaking of magic, our exploration of Complete Concepts has been a magical journey of its own.
It has. It's amazing how much we've learned and how inspired we've become.
It's just the beginning. Now it's up to us to take these insights
Mhm.
and weave them into the tapestry of our own creative lives.
Exactly.
And speaking of exploring, I was particularly intrigued by Complete Concept suggestion to use online idea generators. What if we took that a step further and created our own personal idea generators, tailored to our own unique interests and experiences? That's a fantastic idea. Imagine having this curated collection of prompts and inspiration tailored just for you. It could be a physical box full of intriguing objects, or like a digital document with thought-provoking questions, or even a mental space you've trained yourself to access, brimming with creative possibilities.
It's about taking ownership of your creative process, right? And recognizing that the most potent inspiration often comes from within. We've explored so many strategies, from Complete Concepts, from brainstorming techniques to mindset shifts, all aimed at helping you tap into that wellspring of creativity that's already within you. What stood out to you as particularly helpful or intriguing?
I was really struck by the emphasis on taking breaks, especially those involving physical activity, as a way to spark those creative insights. It seems counterintuitive, but the guide makes a really compelling case for stepping away from the problem to actually make progress.
I think a lot of us have experienced that. You're wrestling with a challenge, you're feeling stuck, and then you go for a walk, do some gardening, hit the gym, and suddenly a new idea pops into your head. It's like giving your conscious mind a break, allows space for those subconscious insights to rise to the surface.
And it's not just about any break, right? Complete Concept specifically highlights the benefits of physical activity. Why is that?
Well, there's a growing body of research that shows a link between physical activity and cognitive function, including creativity. Exercise increases blood flow to the brain, releases endorphins, reduces stress, all of which contribute to enhanced cognitive flexibility and the ability to make those innovative connections.
So it's not just about clearing your head, it's about actively priming your brain for those creative breakthroughs. Another key takeaway for me was the importance of cultivating a supportive environment for creativity.
Absolutely. Complete Concepts reminds us that creativity doesn't exist in a vacuum. The spaces we inhabit, the people we surround ourselves with, even our own internal dialogue, all of these things contribute to our ability to generate new ideas and bring them to life.
So it's about creating a culture of creativity, both internally and externally. It could mean designing a dedicated creative space in your home, or seeking out communities of like-minded individuals, or even just practicing self-compassion and embracing those mistakes as valuable learning experiences.
And speaking of cultivating a supportive environment, our excerpts on internet social networking etiquette, they tie in beautifully here. They offer practical advice for fostering a more positive and encouraging online space, especially when it comes to creative expression.
Yes, in a world where so much creative sharing happens online, it's crucial to be mindful of how our words and actions impact others. It's about fostering constructive dialogue, celebrating diverse perspectives, and remembering that behind every screen is a real person.
It's about using our digital platforms to uplift and inspire rather than tear down. And ultimately, it's about recognizing that a thriving creative community, whether online or offline, benefits everyone.
Complete Concepts ends with a powerful call to action. Use your creativity to make a positive impact on the world. It's a reminder that creativity isn't just about personal fulfillment. It's also a powerful tool for problem solving, innovation, and social change.
We often think of grand gestures, but Complete Concepts encourages us to think about how we can integrate this into our everyday lives. Maybe it's using your artistic talents to brighten your community, or applying your problem-solving skills to a local challenge, or simply inspiring those around you with your passion and enthusiasm.
It's about recognizing that we all possess unique creative gifts, and those gifts, no matter how small they may seem, have the potential to make a real difference in the world. As we wrap up this deep dive, what's one final thought you'd like to leave our listener with?
Complete Concepts reminds us that we're all inherently creative. Don't underestimate your own potential. Embrace those sparks of inspiration. Nurture your creative spirit. And never be afraid to share your unique gifts with the world. You never know the impact you might have.
What a wonderful note to end on. I hope this deep dive has equipped you with valuable insights and a renewed sense of creative possibility. Until next time, keep exploring, keep creating, and keep those creative sparks flying.